Welcome, friends, to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandan Schultz. And of course, it would not be, it could not be, we could not traverse the Seahawks multiverse without the protector of the multiverse, and that is Mr. Phil Leidick. Gentlemen, before we get going, we want to remind the audience, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on audio, hit the likes, do all the things that help the Hawkra, help the algorithm out. And folks, that helps us. And we're going to help you right now because I'll kick it to Brandan real quick. Brandan, this is no longer preseason talk. This isn't draft talk. This is week one versus a rivals talk. And how are you doing today?
Week one is here, and it is against the dirty Rams to start the season. We're not starting off against some team that we don't care about, like, I don't know, like the Bengals are on our schedule, the Browns are on the schedule. No, we get to start off with a division rival, and hopefully, we get to talk about a win coming up after week one. I expect that's what we're going to be talking about today. What if the Seahawks beat the snot out of the LA Rams?
I like that. That's probably Mr. Phil's theme. So, Mr. Phil, is it as simple as that? How much are we going to beat the Rams by? But my guess is you have a more thoughtful theme for our season premiere of What If for the 2023 season.
It's good to be in the real season, not real fake football, not fake real football, but real football. I'm excited. We finally have some Seahawks football against the Lambs, and Brandan started off, had me a little concerned when he said we expect to win, but then I think he moved more toward what all of us really feel we're going to start off the season 1-0 for the real 1-0 as we welcome the Lambs to Seattle. It'd be a fun game to be at, but I'll get to watch it from home. We are going to preview week one. I thought about some kind of sheep theme because, well, it's the Lambs, but you got to do that 2 times a year. You can't always do that. But there's only once per year that you get to have the season opener, right? There's just once per year where it's finally, we've been looking forward to all the way since we sadly lost out of the playoffs last year. We've been looking forward to this week to enjoy real winning again. So, gentlemen, with it being week one, what if we talk game one? And so one is the theme. The theme is one. Here are your categories you will get to select from. Gentlemen, it's the first week, which means Brandan will get to go first. Stick around for the end when we do our What If Super Hawk and when we allow these gentlemen to predict their score. Brandan does pretty good when he doesn't have Adam sub in for him. But I'm going to be a little more specific on how I'm going to do tiebreaker this year because I know Brandan thinks I'm like biased or something. I'm not really sure. Just like some fans watch to complain about the refs, Brandan watches to complain about how I decide who wins. And we'll talk about that at the end as well. But here are our categories, gentlemen. You'll get to pick one. There's just one question behind each category. One love, one and done, one of a kind, one shot, no one, everyone, try one. And then, of course, the great song that has 2 great songs with this name. Question number 1 will go to our number 1 podcaster in all of the Seahawks multiverse, the great, the one and only Brandan Schultz. You make the first selection.
All right. Well, since we had so much discussion over it to start the show, let's start at the bottom with 1.
Oh, the one answer that is 1. Here we go. Brandan, what if there is one matchup that you love? I know Adam said love on the other show. You love in this game. What is it and why? The matchup for us against the Lambs.
The matchup that I love the most is our defensive backs against this receiving core for the Lambs because, well, for one, we're expecting that Cooper Kupp probably not going to play. He has an injury, unfortunately. Maybe even if he does play, I still like this group against the Rams receivers. If Van Jefferson's the number 1, okay. I've heard a lot of talk about Puka Nacua in the preseason for the Rams. Let's see it in the regular season. I don't know if I'm going to buy it until I see it with my own eyeballs. And we have, unfortunately, we aren't going to have Devin Witherspoon out there most likely, but still, we got Trey Brown, Reek Woolen, we got Mike Jackson who'll be out there. They picked up some other corner, Caillou Kelly. We'll see if he ends up playing. Kobe, yeah. I like our defensive backs against this Rams receiving core.
All right. And Brandon, of course, you nailed the pronunciation. Clinton, have you ever heard Brandon mispronounce all these crazy names we have? Is he careful to not say it unless he can pronounce? I don't know that I've heard him do it.
No,
the team puts out a pronunciation guide, and I read it, so that's how I know.
That's the kind of work this man does. Clinton, what do you got? The matchup you love.
Yeah, this is one that I hope we don't end up loving to hate. And by the way, I just want to say for the folks out on YouTube, if you're listening for this on audio, you should check it out on YouTube because Mr. Phil put together all these fantastic graphics, and it's worth the price of admission, which is free. So go check it out there. So this is the one I love, man. I need and I want and I desire to see us and see Evan Brown and see Beefy Boy Haynes and see D-Lou take care of Aaron Donald, make a statement and make a statement early. I want to see sand in the pants, Evan Brown at center doing work in the middle of that Rams line, which has caused us havoc for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years now. And just kind of put to bed any semblance or thought that the Rams could be good this year and do it early, embarrass them, make it seem like Donald is now arriving at an over-the-hill state and that we are on the come up and they are on the way down. That's the matchup I am focused on, and I'm hoping that I end up loving it. So that's where I'm going.
I have to say, guys, when I picked the matchup you love, here's the one I didn't think of. Aaron Donald against anything on our side. That's the
one.
I like the definition there of he just inserted a word, the one matchup that he hopes to love.
I hope to love is that one.
Hopes to love. I see that. Okay. One is done. We have 7 categories left to pick from. Clinton, you get to go next.
All right. I love it. You only get one shot. So let's go. That's the one.
One shot. Here we go. Clinton, what if you could call one play in a scenario of your choosing in this matchup? What are you calling? In what scenario? Go.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, we scored a lot of long touchdowns last year and a lot of touchdowns outside of the red zone. I want to see us very, very badly. I want to see some rushing touchdowns from within the 5-yard line. So, we got to get in that scenario, but you're saying, what's the scenario? So that is it. We're within the 10, the 7, that what they call the green zone, right? So the deeper inside the red zone area. And I want to see Kenneth Walker. That goes back to my Evan Brown love, right? I want to see the middle of the line doing work to springboard off the last thing. And I want to see either Ken Walker or not another running back. I want to see Geno Smith on some shotgun draws that are planned out. And one of those two dudes spiking the ball for 6. I want to see us establish the run and run the ball effectively in the red zone because that'll be so freaking huge to see.
Sounds fun. How about you? You had a little more time for this, Brandon. So what do you got? Scenario and a play. Yeah. You got one shot.
Well, with the idea of establishing the run, I want to see one of those times where you get a solid run on first down, you get it into second and short. And because I like the matchups, also, I just talked about matchups of our defensive backs on their receivers. I love the matchup of our wide receivers against their defensive backs. Mm-hmm. So you get into second and short, you go deep against this because this defense, because hopefully you're getting a little bit of extra time. You put in your tight ends, max protect a little bit, get Tyler, get DK out there, and you throw deep against this Rams defense.
Yeah, my dad will be loving hearing you say that. That's always his favorite play. Second and short. Let's go for a deep shot.
Go for a deep shot, because then you can go for the short yardage on third down.
And then you could punt on 4th and 1, because that's what we do.
All right. Yeah. Hey, I don't like that. Okay. Let's go back to the Sean the Sheep McVay page here with our categories. Brandon, where do you want to go?
I meant to pick one and done.
You did. And Phil should be one and done with his graphics clicking abilities. Go ahead.
What if we can end some Lamb drives within one sequence? How will this get done? I'm even taking Phil's job over for him.
I'm bright red. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to see somebody turn tomatoey red, just watch it right now.
We got to help each other out. Phil had a down series there, but we pick him back up. And
thank you.
Right, you got to be the cornerback who just be a fish. Phil, that's it. You forget the last play. You keep moving
to the next
forward.
one. We got it.
And we got it.
Okay, one and done. Go ahead, Brandon. How would you answer this question you read?
The key to this one really is stopping this Rams run game. And this is the big question that we have going into this is this defensive interior for the Seahawks going to be able to shut down Cam Akers? If the dude doesn't have space, he's not getting a whole lot of yardage. And can our guys, can they close up those running lanes enough to stymie Cam Akers and keep those drives short? Because if Stafford is going to have to rely on going back and doing deep drops on third down, trying to get those third and longs, it's going to be a long day for the Rams. And with our pass rush, I have a good feeling about that, but they have got to be able to stop the run on first and second down.
Go ahead, Clinton. What do you got on that? How are we going to get it done?
Yeah, the way we're going to get it done is the way in which we intended to all offseason, which is reload the defensive line, play different schematically, load up on the edges, and bring some friggin' pressure on Stafford, who at this point, Stafford's still fairly elusive for an older quarterback. He's still, I wouldn't say he's mobile, but he's good in the pocket. He knows how to get out of some scenarios. This is not a great Rams team. They've lost a lot of talent. This is a team that is going in the wrong direction in many, many ways. So how does it get done? Well, obviously it's all about third down. And so how do you get off on third down? There's many ways. Let's just go to the fun one, right? Let's go to, if Derek Hall is in, the Derek Hall sack. If Mafe can do what he's been showing that he probably can do. I saw some hot takes on Twitter today. Folks calling for Mafe at 10 plus sacks. That's pretty spicy. Ooh. It's just getting home, right? So if we're going to end some of these drives, well, it's that we do well enough on the first couple of downs and we're in third and fairly long, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and we're just getting home, Phil, or we get some batted balls down. So I'll combo that, but it's the Draymond Jones, it's Reed, it's the edges. We just get after them, man. It's not a great offensive line. We're better. Let's go.
I like it. Well, let's see if I can pick things back up here. I do feel like we're a little bit more risk reward this year. We can get some TFLs, but we might get smashed a little bit here and there. 3 categories left here. One of a kind, no one, and everyone. One of a kind, no one, and everyone is what we have time left for. Which one would you like to select?
Well, I'm a social guy. I'm a social creature by my fortitude of nature. So I'm into everyone. Let's bring them all together. Everybody.
Here we go. Clinton, what if there's something every Hawk fan should expect to see in this matchup? We should all get ready for what? You can go positive, you can go negative, a little bit of both. Something we should all expect to see this Sunday, game 1.
Yeah. Okay, I've got some negatives, but I want to stay in positive town here. So I'll avoid the gutters here. I'm going to go with the positivity of every Seahawks fan should expect Jake Bobo to have at least 3 receptions and most likely a touchdown. And the reason is because the dude makes plays.
Is that bad news for JSN, or you just think we're going to have 4 receivers?
I think that I don't think JSN is going to play in this game. We're recording this. It's now Tuesday afternoon, so there's plenty of days left before the game. I think the Seahawks are going to be very patient. I do not expect Witherspoon to play. I do not expect JSN to play. And especially if Cooper Kupp is diagnosed as he is being right now, like he won't likely not playing. So I think it's going to be the Jake Bobo show in the sense that, what does that mean? Well, it's still the Lockett show, still the DK show. The tight ends are going to get theirs. We're still going to run the ball. But I think what can we expect? expect Jake Bobo to do Jake Bobo things, make plays, and get people fired up at home. So number 19 on the field, number 1 in our hearts.
All right. How about you, Brandon? Some things we ought to all expect to see since it is game 1.
Yeah, I thought that this question was leaning toward realism town, and Clinton went to fantasy town anyway.
I said 3 receptions, 3, a measly part, you know,
and a touchdown. So,
well, 1 of the 3, of course, yeah.
I think there's one thing that we all need to keep in mind, and we're going to hear, and we've heard all about how, the Rams team is down, they're bad. PFF has them ranked in the bottom 2 in terms of their roster, and they're going to be competing for Caleb Williams. Yeah, those are all things that may be true, but this game is going to be close because it's the Rams, and these games are always close. The Seahawks are maybe 5.5-point favorites. There's probably going to be people thinking that we're going to win by a touchdown or more. It's most likely that the Seahawks, when they win this game, it's going to be less than a field goal or maybe by a field goal late in this game. It's not going to feel great, but it's still going to feel good to get the win.
I like it. I like it. Okay, so Brandon, we got 2 left. We got one of a kind or no one.
I am going to go with no one.
No one.
No one. Here we go, Brandon. What if a player that no Hawk fans expect becomes a problem in this game? Who are you afraid might surprise us? So somebody from the Lambs we're not really looking toward, but they just might dangerously surprise us in this game.
Ooh, the guy I'm going to go with is a guy who actually surprised us last time, or one of the previous times that we played the Rams, and that is Michael Hoyt, who is one of their outside linebackers. Kind of an undersized guy. You wouldn't expect a lot from him, especially when you have our second-year tackles now who should be able to take care of guys coming around the edge. But for whatever reason, Michael Hoyt had Charles Cross's number a couple times last season, got to Geno, and I think with the focus being more toward Aaron Donald, it allows a guy like Hoyt to break out.
Good. And if I believed in jinxes, I was hoping you're going to jinx Hoyt for us because I'd love Cross to have a great game. But how about you? One of a kind? No, we're not quite one of a kind. We still want to hear your no one. Then we know you are one of a kind, Clinton. We'll get that from you in a moment. But you're a player that we're not really expecting. It becomes an issue for us in this match.
This is fun. And by the way, what was that? It was 2 sacks last time, right? I think you said that, right, with Hoyt?
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah,
and extra pressures too. It was not just the 2 sacks. Yeah. It was like, who is this guy and why is he a problem? I remember that distinctly.
Hopefully Charles crosses him off this time.
Oh, I like that. All right, so here's the dude this time around. It is a great name, fun to say. It won't be fun if we're hearing it too much, and that's Puka Nacua, right? Ooh. So Puka, wide receiver from BYU. He's a rookie. If Cup is, they got to throw the ball somewhere. We don't expect Cup to be out there. All right, you got Van Jefferson, you got Tutu Atwell. All right, but the dude, Puka Nacua, I should say, not Natua. Puka Nacua, number 17 on the field. He's pretty big, 6'2" dude, but he's also shifty. He's got great hands. It's just the guy that I will not be surprised if we're at the end of the game and we're sitting there going like, oh, Puka has 7 or 8 receptions and 80 something yards, and maybe he scored a touchdown. Yeah, exactly. And he's working the middle and exposing some of the linebacker issues that maybe just aren't resolved quite yet. That's the dude that might cause us some problems and some issues. And again, it's gonna be the name we are tired of hearing by the end of the day. Hope I'm wrong, but that's the guy I'm watching.
All right, Clinton, we got one category left. This one is one of a kind, and you're one of a kind. And let's find out what we have here. What if some special players make the difference? I thought this would be interesting. Maybe you get to pick the first one. How many special players would you say, and I'm not talking moderately special, I'm saying these are big difference makers. How many special players would you say are on each team? And you want to pick Seahawks or Rams and kind of let Brandon take the other one? Or you can kind of give your clue on both. What would you say? How many guys you just count off? You know these guys in your heart. These guys are difference makers.
Yeah, so there's a very special relationship that's been brewing for a couple of seasons now, and it goes a little bit like Stafford's back to pass. He gets flushed out of the pocket. He's scrambling. He either throws across his body or, seemingly throws the ball out of bounds, and out of nowhere, the very special and very talented Quandre Diggs
Yes.
comes up with a nice special interception. So I want to see that special connection from Stafford to Diggs, just keep on shining on through. So that's where I think from our standpoint, our DB room is super strong. I'm not going to take any other answers off the board or take away from Brandan where he may want to go there with other players. This has been the area. Yes, we got Draymond Jones and we focused on the front end, but our DBs are where it's at. That DB room is stacked. So Stafford politely giving the ball to Diggs at least once. That's a special connection. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
And are there any other offensive if Kupp doesn't play, is there anybody special on offense for the Rams besides
I don't
Stafford?
think it's a very special roster. I mean Higbee. The thing is when we do PNW prop stars, and there's going to be some Higbee bet out there that's like Higbee over 3.5 receptions on that show, I'll be talking about taking that bet because I still have a little bit of disbelief of how good our linebacking crew is going to be, especially covering the covering tight ends, covering the pass. But that's not special. That's pedestrian, but easy money, but not special. So no, there really isn't.
Yeah. So what do you got on this, Brandan? Can you count off special players on both teams? Is that too hard to do? Because to me, it seems kind of easy to count Rams special players right now.
Yeah, the Rams special players are Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, and if you stretch to Stafford, you could put him in that group too. And that's probably where the list ends. And the reason why, when I brought up Pro Football Focus and their rankings of rosters, why the Rams are ranked so low. They gave up one of their special players. They had a Hall of Famer at linebacker last year, but he changed his name back to Bobby Wagner, and now he's back with the Seahawks. So that reverts one of their special players to our special roster, along with Quandre. And I think there's guys. I don't know if I would put guys like Reek Woolen and Kenneth Walker into that special category yet because I think they still have something to prove. But you have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, two special players on offense, and that's probably where I would go. Yeah, Quandre, Bobby, Nwosu, I think is special, and then the two receivers for the Seahawks.
Yeah, I had ulterior motive in asking this question because I just like how the math works out when you think about special players. I mean, Havenstein might be. I don't know if that's a stretch.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Good offensive lineman, right? We didn't mention, I don't think once at all during this whole preview too, is we didn't talk Geno at all.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a team that lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost Greg Gaines at nose tackle. They lost Taylor Rapp at safety. They lost Nick Scott at safety. They're starting Akello Witherspoon. I mean, this is not a good they are way, way, way less of a roster than they were last year. And specifically, their DB room is sincerely less than it was talent-wise last year. So to cap that one off and just say, look, Geno being Geno, going out there and being special.
Yeah.
This is a perfect, I looked at the weather. I think it's like 76 degrees or 75 degrees and like partly cloudy is the forecast for Seattle on Sunday. Crisp fall day. I mean, this lines up real nicely for Seattle to do what we expect them to do offensively, which means Geno should have a chance to be special.
Geno can have a special game for sure. And their offense, I don't know what's the bigger drain, what's gone down the drain more, their offensive line in the last 2 years or the defensive backs. And those are pretty important position groups. I mean, you're talking about half of the team on either side of the ball, pretty close to your DBs and your offensive line, and they're without specialness. That's pretty terrifying if there's a Lamb fan out there.
Well, there's one. We know there's the one Lamb fan. Yeah.
The Lamb fan has got to be a little bit scared when it's well, I did have graphic for the wish, Brandon, if you want to bring that back so we can hear
Nice.
so we can hear your guys' wish. This one might actually work.
Ooh.
There we go. Our what if Super Hawk. Brandon gets to go first. The rules for this year, this is the rules. I'm going to turn something subjective into try to make it objective, but it's still subjective based on me because I don't know how to avoid it. But first and foremost, you have to get the win right.
Okay.
And then I will determine if your wish is if he really was super in the game. If he really was a big difference maker, then that's a win. Then if both of your wishes and both of your predictions are right, then we will go to score differential. Okay.
Nice.
So now you know how it works, Brandon. The only subjective part is I decide if your wish really came true or not. So, and you can still,
I'll decide if your judgment when it comes to it ultimately
and you can determine how my judgment was on the wish. When I say Clinton's was good and you're like, that wasn't really good enough. And then still be grouchy about it. Prediction. Yes. This is different than a pick. We know you're going to talk about picks during the flagship show as we pick for the Pick'em League. This is how you predict the game will go in. We'll get to that after you both take your wish, and I'm going to write them down. Brandon, your wish first.
All right. My wish for this game, a guy that we haven't talked a whole lot about and a guy who we haven't seen in the preseason, Ken Walker. If he can go for 100 yards and a touchdown, and I don't care if it's one of those 5-yard inside the 5 touchdowns or if he's running it in from outside the red zone, I want a touchdown from Kenneth Walker. I want 100 yards rushing. And if the Seahawks can do that, it's going to be a good day.
Touchdown and 100 yards is what you're considering a wish, and I think that's a pretty good game. Clinton, what do you got? Who's your wish or what if Super Hawk for this matchup?
I'd like to first start by saying that I hope Brandon's wish comes true because that would make me very, very happy as a Seahawks fan. I would love to see that. My what if Super Hawk is going to be Nwosu at 1.5 sacks or more. So we didn't talk too much about Nwosu. We hinted a little bit at the defensive line. I named
him one of my special guys.
Fine. He's one of your, yes, he's one of your special guys. Well, he's my special guy. Okay. He's my wish. 1.5 sacks or more from Nwosu. I took a bet. It was available to me and it's legal in the state of Connecticut. I have a season-long bet of Nwosu at 12 or more sacks on the year to pay me plus 550. I have real American money on that. So I want him to get off to a good start and get, basically over 10% of that in one game. And
be my wish. Cliff Averill season if Cliff Averill played 17 games, right?
Yeah, let's go. I like it.
All right, for the score, Brandon, predicting the score.
The score for this game, I will predict the Seahawks 23 points and the Rams 20.
20, close game.
I'm telling
Seattle 23.
Field goal. I don't like it, but I do like the win.
LA 20. How about you, Clinton? This might be a tie-breaking opportunity here for you. What do you got?
I think we're going to win this game. I think we're going to win pretty big. I think we win this game 30-19. 30-19. A lot of Myers field goals where one of those games where it could have even been a little bit bigger, but a couple of drives stall out and we're picking nits to go into week 2, but the kind of nits that are okay to pick when you beat a rival by 11 points.
I like your answer better for 2 reasons. I like winning by more points.
Sure.
And I like that it's a score differential that would allow me to win this prediction.
Wait, Brandon, what was your differential? Just for the
23-20. 3-point.
Okay.
The 3-point differential versus 11. There's always the chance it could go right in the middle, right? If we get to a 7-point differential. Yeah. 7-point differential. Then I'll just have to give you both the loss or something. I don't know what I'll do there. But.
We'll have to look at the wish and then I'll win because mine will be my Nwosu will get 2 sacks and I'll be right there. Groovy.
How much more your wish was wishy than his wish?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if he just gets 100 and a touchdown, but Nwosu
don't try and make this more difficult for Phil. He had all this trouble last season trying to get it right.
All right, gentlemen. I don't know if there's anything else to mention about the game. I know I'm super looking forward to it. It's been a while. We've been circling this for a while. Day before my birthday. That's my birthday wish. Let's start the season 1-0 and then go 1-0 the rest of the time.
let's make sure we do that for you, Mr. Phil, and for all those listening out there, whether that's on audio or you're watching on YouTube, please, and do the things already. Subscribe on YouTube, hit the likes, and then, hey, getintheflock.com. So we do this 5 shows a week during the season, and getintheflock.com is the place where you can go to join as a patron. And then you get to go do all the fun stuff. I don't know about you guys. I know that during game day, I'll have the game on one screen, but I'll be hanging out in the Discord right on my laptop as well, which is only available to members of the flock. So go, check it out and just be a part of something that is, now it's the time. We put in the work all off season, so we get the reward, so we could celebrate together. And Brandon, are you and Adam doing the funness on Thursday nights? Is that happening?
That is the plan. Thursday night hangout live on YouTube. And you mentioned the pick'em, Phil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's when we're going to be doing our picks, is during the Thursday night football games.
Oh, interesting. That's a cool idea. Very good.
So
I'll look forward to that.
So a kind of a Hawkra Manning cast, if you will, with Brandon and Adam. That'll be fun for each and every Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. I'll just be tuning in with maybe a cerveza in hand and just watching along. So Mr. Phil, take us out, dude. Week 1, we came through it all. We're here. Take us out, buddy.
With that, what if we say go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.